Hello everyone, my name is Reza Asani and currently I'm a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of California in Merced. I've been involved in the area of precision agriculture and digital farming for more than 25 years. I would like to talk to you about some of the application of AI and IoT in tree crop production and introduce you to a newly founded research center focused on the application of IoT in agriculture, of which I am a member. There is a need to increase efficiency and productivity in agriculture. The major challenges include increased food demand. A report indicated that the food production need to be increased by 70% by 2050. Depletion of resources such as land, water shortage. Another report indicated that by 2030, farmers need 40% more water. The spread of plant and animal disease, significant increase in price of labor and application inputs, increase in regulations. However, there are several opportunities that can help us to deal with the above challenges. For example, a connected digital world, advances in sensor technology, new data analytics in AI tools, and fast wireless technology, all of them which help us and assist us to get to to increase our efficiency of crop production in the future. Let me start with the historic overview of precision agriculture. Precision agriculture, or the concept of site-specific crop management, was introduced in late 80s. Precision agriculture is an information-based management technique that uses the idea of applying the right amount of input at the right location at the right time. One of the first technologies that were developed for precision agriculture was development of a yield monitoring system for grain combine. This technology was able to quantify and map amount of yield variability in the field. However, it was not able to detect the cause of yield variability. To understand the cause of yield variability and to manage it, growers need additional site-specific information. For example, they need to know the variability of soil nutrient content, weed or pest and disease across the field. In addition, some of the factors that influence yield are not easily predictable or manageable, such as climate. Therefore, to fully incorporate the concept of precision agriculture, more information are needed, which require the development of sensor for each of these factors. Developing sensor system that can quantify and map all these factors for different crops has been a significant challenge in the adoption of precision agriculture, especially for fruits and vegetable crops that are smaller in size, and each crop has a unique pest and disease that requires unique disease and pest detection sensor or algorithms. Also, due to the complexity of the biological system, no single expertise can develop the needed technology for this domain. Conducting research in this domain is a multidisciplinary in nature and require a team of engineers and scientists that work together on it. Last year, a team of engineers and scientists from University of Pennsylvania, University of Purdue, University of Florida, and University of California in Merced were awarded a large grant by NSF to establish an engineering research center to focus on the Internet of Things for precision agriculture. An interdisciplinary and diverse group of faculty, their students, and government and industry professionals with expertise in agronomy, agricultural engineering, and environmental science, and in the science and engineering of physical and cyber-physical systems will be working together in this center. The engineering center has three main thrusts. Thrust one is focused on agricultural sensor system. The goal is to develop a sensor for monitoring soil and environmental factors. They will also develop different robotic platforms to deploy the sensors. Thrust 2, communication and energy system, is working on advanced devices and systems to power and communicate data for embedded sensor, robots, and machinery. Trust Tree Agricultural Response System will create machine learning and decision-based models for precision agriculture to allow growers to intelligently manage their fields. The picture shows scientists and engineering working on different trusts. I am co-leading the Trust 1 on an agricultural sensor system. One of the major changes in our approach is that we are not just looking at the effect of different crop inputs on yield, we will consider the interaction of environmental factors on crops as well. We study how do the complex system of biotic and abiotic variables affects crop yield and resilience. On which time scale and with what spatial resolution should we deploy technologies to capture these variables? Under Trust 1, we are looking at developing sensors in two ways. One, by improving and enhancing existing commercially available sensors, and also we are looking into developing new innovative sensors. For example, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania are working on developing new adaptive material for low-cost biodegradable sensor called TAF sensors. Sensors above and below the soil surface rely on adaptive polymer material which undergo a change in their structure and optical property in response to chemical or physical of a stimuli. Target variables of interest include moisture, temperature, pH, ions, and toxin, and the adaptive material being used are designed offer selectivity based on their geometry and chemistry, some of which are commercial bases of ion selective membranes already used in handheld agricultural sensors. This slide shows three ongoing projects using this approach. In the first project, LeafSense, the sensor will change the color of reflected light at optical frequencies based on target factors like temperature for sensor above the soil surface. In the optical system project, there is a co-design process combining optical sensor with the detectors mounted on aerial and ground robots to collect signal from sensors in the field. Similarly, in project Subsurface Sense, chaff sensor deployed below ground will change the frequency of reflected electromagnetic radiation at radio frequency in response to target variables like soil moisture. In the third project, development of a new sensor is focused on detecting both aflatoxin itself and predicting the risk by correlating indication of plant stress known to trigger aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is critical threat to human health and such crop as peanuts, corn, cotton, and pistachio. Any sensor system needs a platform to carry the sensor. One of the sub-thrusts of the project is at developing a robotic platform that can carry the sensor and collect field data. There are currently multiple projects on this topic, and I'm giving an example of two of these projects. The first one is a small autonomous robot. The relevant ag problem is being able to sample corn leaves more frequently in space and time. Leaf samples can be used for determining nutrient content or nutrient needs, as well as for detecting pest and disease. To solve this problem on a larger scale, we need new custom design platform. The picture on the left shows an early prototype navigating in a cornfield. Then on the left, we see custom design being prototyped, a bigger platform. In the right, we see the custom telescopic mount to sample leaves at the bottom. We see the sensor payloads. This type of robot must be custom designed because they are not commercially available. The second example is on semantic mapping of orchards for mapping tree canopy characteristics such as height, volume, and leaf density. The picture shows an example of a platform and associated sensor tower that can fly under the tree canopy between tree rows for semantic mapping. The picture shows the LiDAR data and images collected by this sensor, which later on will be processed to map tree canopy characteristics. The research center also has a multiple site for testing the sensors. This map shows crop production across the US. Our institutions are located in Northwest, South, Midwest, and West region of US environment. US, and also represent diversity across the US in our climate, cropping system, and regulatory environment. This diversity gives us opportunity to test our technology and integrated system for the same crop in different backgrounds and for different crops. Our tree land grant institution has extensive experience and infrastructure to engage regional farmers, certified crop advisor, and tech services industry and extension agent in a workforce development program. One of our sub-trusts is developing an IoT infrastructure for model orchard that demonstrate how new technologies will be used under the field condition. This is one of the projects in which we are developing an IoT infrastructure for a model orchard in California that addresses the specific need of nut crops in California. Drought and water shortage is a critical issue in California, and efficient water use is very important for growers in California. The goal of this project is to enhance existing water stress and irrigation scheduling technique and develop a combination of a ground-based sensor and aerial imaging technique to determine the specific need of each tree and efficiently apply deficit irrigation on a larger scale without adverse effect on crop yield. The project includes developing new cost-effective sensor, collect high-resolution aerial multi-band image, weather and environmental data, and establish all infrastructure needed to fully implement an concept of IoT for ag. The sensor part of the previous slide include developing a new low-cost sap flow sensor, a multiple weather station system that captures microclimate variation cost effectively, as well as a system that continuously monitors plant reflectance data. The slide shows the data that generated from this sensor and also other sources of data that will be collected, such as the stem water potential and spectral data. All this information will be fed into a machine learning model to predict water stress for each trees in the block. And based on that, we will develop an irrigation scheduling map that can be used by growers to schedule their irrigations. AI and new technology can also be applied to enhance labor efficiency and also assist in developing a new generation of smart agricultural machineries that are more efficient. One example is about how to optimize the cocoa pod harvesting system. By installing a set of motion capture sensor on an expert harvester, we can study how an expert human harvests pods and how much he spent on each task. This will help us to develop an automation system for that task. Another example is mechanical harvesting for tree crops. Mechanical harvesting for tree crops is another area that can benefit from augmented mechanical intelligence. Currently, most of the nut trees are harvested by trunk shakers. The best shaking frequency to avoid tree damage and maximum fruit removal for harvesting nut crop is a frequency around the natural frequency of trees. However, each tree, due to variation in mass and configuration of a branch, has a slightly different natural frequency. Currently, the machine operator decides on how to shake a tree based on their experience. We are working on developing a smart AI model-based system that decide the most optimized shaping parameters for each trees. So to summarize my talk, the key points are more cost-effective data collection systems are needed. AI will speed up the implementation of precision agriculture in high-value crops. Application of AI in agriculture require expertise from multiple disciplines. AI and new advanced technology are driving more investment in developing new technologies. And the last but not the least is robotic and new technology is attracting younger generation to work in the field of agriculture, which requires developing training programs on these topics for them.